Hello all, welcome to this video series AutoCAD for Absolute Beginners. So if you are going to learn AutoCAD for the first time, this is a good place to start your AutoCAD learning. Basically, AutoCAD is a widely used software, mostly used by architects and engineers and other professionals as well. Inside this video, you will be learning how to create an Autodesk account and download AutoCAD through it, and then we will be understanding the AutoCAD interface, then basic operations, and after basic operations we will do some drafting practice exercises to know how to use basic AutoCAD operations. Then we will look at layer management and AutoCAD blocks and annotating the objects, how to measure dimensions and adding text to objects. Then finally we will plot a AutoCAD drawing. So all these things are prepared for a beginner in AutoCAD. After learning the basic things, you can master the software by learning more advanced things and do more complex operations using AutoCAD. In this video, we are going to look at how to download free softwares from Autodesk website. So if you are a student or an educator, you can download Autodesk softwares for free. So in your browser, just type free software Autodesk. First, you need to go to Autodesk Education and Student Access. You have to click here. Then you will get a window like this. Here, if you scroll down, you will find AutoCAD. So you have to find the required one, AutoCAD or AutoCAD for Mac. So I'm using this one, AutoCAD for Windows. So go to Get Started here. First, what we need is we need to create an account. So you have to create the account and you can type your country, you can type your education role, student, educator, or like that. Then you can type your institution type. So after giving all these things and giving your detail, if you can verify your education role, Autodesk will give you 1 year free access to the softwares. So there you can download any Autodesk softwares for free and you can work it for 1 year. So that is how you can download Autodesk software for free. So after installing AutoCAD on your PC or laptop, you will get this kind of desktop shortcut. So in my case, I have AutoCAD 2023 English version. So to open AutoCAD, you have to double click. You have to double click this icon. It will start opening AutoCAD. So after some time, it will come to the welcome screen where you open the software for the first time. So if you have already opened AutoCAD and if you have already opened some drawings, they will be listed out here. So to open up a new drawing, you can go to this new. So if you have already created drawing, you can open them using this open option. Since we don't have any earlier drawings, I am going to open a new drawing. I click here. So it will open a new drawing. So once you start working on a drawing, you can save that drawing time to time. So to save a drawing for the first time, you can go to this save icon from the quick access toolbar. So by default, I get the drawing name as drawing1.dwg. So you can use whatever the name you like and also from this menu you can browse to the desired location you like to save your drawing. And also you can see the files of type here. You have currently AutoCAD 2018 drawing. So once you save this drawing in this mode, from 2018 to 2023, whatever the version you use, this drawing can be open without any problem. So if you use AutoCAD 2017, this drawing may be open but it will not function as desirable, right? So I am going to save this, and now I can start drafting. So when you are drafting, make sure you are saving the drawing time to time. So if you want to save this with another drawing name, you can go to save as option. So if it is on this quick access toolbar, you can use this option. If it is in the otherwise, you can go to the application menu and go to save as option to get the drawing changed to another location or with a different name. So that is about opening a new drawing and saving it. So from here onwards, we will see how to work with AutoCAD. In this, we are going to learn about the AutoCAD interface. Once you open a new drawing, you will have this kind of interface. So on your top left, you have application menu. So if you click your application menu, you will have set of icons here. So you can open a new drawing, you can open an existing drawing, you can save as drawings, import, export drawing related things, and publish and print the drawings. So you can do lot more things through this application menu browser. Then there you have the lastly open drawings here. There are a list of drawings. It will show up to 10 drawings here. So if you want to keep a drawing for a long time, you can click this thumbtack icon. So it will be there as long as you uncheck this one. So in here you can search about commands from the AutoCAD software. So if I search for circle command, it will show everything about the circle command, where you can access and what you can do. Then after that, at the top here, you can have the quick access toolbar. They are the tools that can be accessed quickly. So you can quickly open a new drawing, quickly open an existing drawing, quickly save as drawing. These things are related to mobile content. This is for plotting your drawing. This is undo and redo. So here you have some kind of icon here. If you click here, you can control what should be there in this quick access toolbar. So if I want to remove this open from web and mobile and save to web and mobile, I can uncheck these options. So it will be unchecked. If you want to add more things here, you can add from here. So again, you can share your drawings with others using this option. These are kind of new options in AutoCAD. Then if you move on to here, this is the workspace we are working on. In between this quick access toolbar and the workspace, you have this area, we are calling it the ribbon. So in this ribbon, you have separate tabs. This is home tab, this is insert tab, this is annotate tab, this is parametric tab. Likewise, you have so many tabs. So if you go onto one tab, you have in each tab you have something called panels. Inside these panels you have various options where you can launch a command and other tools where you can do most of the things in AutoCAD. In these panels you have flyouts and you can access more commands from here, and if you click these flyouts you can access so many commands related to that option. So if you want to create a circle, you have so many options where you can create a circle. If you want to create an arc, there are so many options where you can create an arc. So that is about the home tab, and likewise you have so many things in other tabs as well. So then you have at the bottom, you have here the status bar. There are several things in this status bar. If you click your mouse cursor, it will show you what is there. Here it is grid mode, here it is snap mode, here this is auto, and likewise you have so many options where you can turn on and off. So you can customize these options through this customization menu. So if you want to, you can click this grid toolbar. It will remove this grid icon from the status bar. So if I click here, the grid access will be gone. So if I want to take it back, I have to click here again. Likewise, you can turn on off according to your needs the customization tools. Then you have one of the most important things here, which is the command line, where you do most of the things in AutoCAD. You can launch commands and do so many things through this command line. This is where you, a user, communicate with AutoCAD, that is through the command bar. Then you have this search bar here. This is kind of a web browser, so you can type in anything here, and let us say as earlier we will type circle here. Now if you open, it will give you AutoCAD help here, and it will give you so many things about the help, not only about the command but so many things related to the term help, like a web browser. So you can close it here. Then you have the sign in options here. You can sign into your Autodesk account from here. Apart from that, you can close your drawing here. Also, if you double click this A icon or application menu, double click this application menu, you can close the drawing. Then finally, you have this view cube, and you have this viewport controls here. So we are not going to learn much about that under this beginners tutorials. And lastly, you have the model tab here, where we do our drafting. Then you have the layout tab and layout tab too. Here you can get a basic understanding about the AutoCAD interface. Before doing any AutoCAD work, we will modify or customize our status bar. So currently you can see some status bar icons turned on. This light blue color means these are turned on. So we have to make sure that all these icons are turned off before we proceed. So to turn off these icons or deactivate these things, I will click once on here. So it will diminish the light blue color. So I will do the same for all these things. If you like, you can make it without turning off this grid mode. If you turn off the grid, it will turn off the grid in the workspace. If you want to see it throughout your work, you can keep it on. Now we are going to draw some objects in AutoCAD. So to draw some objects here, I am going to Home tab. So at the leftmost you have line. So it will trigger the line command. So if I click here, so it is asking on the command line, specify a point, specify first point. So I will click somewhere here. Make sure you are left clicking. Then it will start to draw a line. So I will draw some line here. Again I will continue to draw that, some kind of lines. Then I press enter to finish that. So after you finish it, the command bar will be empty. So then we will again click on the circle here, circle icon. So there are some drop down options, but without going to drop down options, we will click directly on this icon. So we'll select the circle. Then it is asking, please specify a center point. So I will specify the center point like here. Now when you drag your mouse cursor out of the center area, you will see a curve is drawing. So I'll click somewhere here to stop the formation of the circle. Now our circle is formed. Then I am going to here, this rectangle one. I click here. So I click somewhere here. Then I click somewhere here at the bottom to end the command. So now you can see you have some lines, you have a circle, and you have a rectangle. So we have created few objects using AutoCAD. After drawing some basic objects, now we are going to learn about the basic mouse operations. So if you working with AutoCAD or AutoCAD related softwares, definitely you need to have a mouse. Especially you need to have a mouse with a mouse wheel. So you have the mouse. Inside your mouse you have left click, right click and mouse wheel. So if you left click any of the object, it will select the object. So if you left click again on another object, it will select that object as well. So if you select this one, it will select this as well. So if you select this one, it will select this as well. Or that means they will be add up all together. So if you want to deselect everything, you can press escape. Then if you select any object and right click, you will get object related menu here. So you can do some basic operations here. We will see them later. So that is about right click menu. Then I press escape twice to deselect this one as well. So the most important part of the mouse operation is the mouse wheel. So using the mouse wheel, you can zoom in and zoom out. So if you place the mouse cursor here and scroll your mouse wheel, it will zoom in. So if you scroll the mouse wheel out, it will zoom out by centering the mouse cursor location. Then if I zoom in here, I can zoom this one. Right. Then you have another thing called panning. Panning means, I will zoom out a little bit here. So panning means we are pressing the mouse wheel and holding it. Pressing the mouse wheel and holding it, you will get a hand-like icon here. Now you can drag it here and there. So it will not zoom in or zoom out, but it will change the position of the object. So this is like you are dragging a paper, right? So you can do panning here. So also you can access panning from here as well. So if you click here, so you can do the panning by just left clicking without pressing the mouse wheel button. Using left clicking you can pan. So you have to press escape to exit that one. So you have two options to do panning. One is pressing and hold mouse wheel. The other one is getting to pan from here, this navigation bar. So I press escape. So if you will double click the mouse wheel, it will do something called zoom extend. So it will zoom everything into this window working area. So we call it zoom extend. So if you zoom out and double click the mouse wheel, it will zoom extend. I will zoom out again, and if you click here, that is also zoom extend from the navigation bar. It will do the zoom extend, same as double clicking the mouse wheel. So that is about basic mouse operations in AutoCAD. Now we are going to talk about AutoCAD selection methods. There are three methods of selecting object in AutoCAD. One is window selection, the other one is crossing selection, and the final one is lasso selection. So for the window selection, you have to click your mouse button, left mouse button at the left side, and after clicking you have to the right side. So you will get a blue color window everything that is completely inside this window will be selected. You can see some lines are getting selected. Here you can see some lines are getting selected. Now if I come to here, you can see everything which is inside the blue color window is getting selected. So once I press left click again, they will be selected. So I press escape. Then if you do the same from bottom to top, you will get the same result like that. So everything inside that blue color box will be selected. So I press escape again. So the other selection method is crossing window selection. That is from right to left. So if I click on right side and move my cursor to the left, everything that touches the window, this green color window will be selected. This window is a dashed line window, so it is a green color window. Everything that touches window will be selected. So if I move further left side, you can see the line is also now selected. Now both line and circle is selected. So I press escape. If you do the same from bottom to top, that is the same result. Everything that touches the window getting selected. Unlike the earlier option, this time everything that touches the window getting selected. The next one is the lasso selection. This lasso selection is kind of a goofy selection. So let us say if you select this, if you click this mouse button, left click this mouse button and you click and hold, so you can see it is kind of a random like selection. It is acting same as window selection and crossing selection, but the selection line is kind of a goofy line. So if I click somewhere here, it is not nothing is getting selected because nothing is inside the circle. There was one selected because it was inside the circle. I press escape. Then again I will do a complete circle here. Try to do a complete circle. No, you can see that line only getting selected. So if you go the other way from right to left, that is the crossing window through lasso selection. If I do this like this, you can see everything that touches will be selected. So when you are going to select objects, this lasso selection may also be useful, right? So that is about object selections. Let us say while selecting some objects, you have to deselect some other objects. So I press escape at this moment. Let us say I select all these things. Select all these things. So I selected all these things. So let us say I want to remove this circle from the selection. To do that, you have to press your shift key and select this object. So it will be deselected. If you want to deselect this one as well, while pressing shift key, select that object. It will be deselected. So if you want to add anything to this selection, you can click here and add, or you can do a crossing window selection. Otherwise, you can click the object. So those are the methods to select objects in AutoCAD. Now we are going to learn about object snaps in Civil 3D. So to do that, I will move them to a separate area. So to do that, I will press and hold my mouse button to pan. So I will move them away from the screen, and now my screen is clear for more drafting works. So first I will click this rectangle button to create a rectangle. So I will create a rectangle here. Then let's suppose we need a line from the midpoint of this line to midpoint of this line. So we don't know how to catch the midpoint. So to get the midpoint exactly, you have to turn on what we call object snaps. So you can access it from here. So you can see at the bottom it says object snaps is given by F3 key also. So you can either press this button or also you can press F3 key on your keyboard. So if you click this arrow here, it will give a list of available snaps. That means this check marks is for the available snaps. So it will catch the endpoint, it will catch the midpoint, it will catch the center, it will catch the intersection, it will catch the perpendicular point. So what we need is the midpoint. So it is available here. So now I am going to initiate the line command. I click here. Now if I move the mouse cursor here, it will automatically snap to the midpoint. It will give me a note as it is the midpoint. So I start this line and come to here, it will show me my midpoint is selected at the other side. So I will click here. Then I press enter to close that command. So then I will create a circle from here, from the midpoint of this line, the line we created. So I will click that one as well. So I have a circle here. Then I will initiate another line command. So this time I will catch the endpoint. So if I come here, it will show me I have cached the endpoint, and I will come to here and get the perpendicular point. So it will show me this is the perpendicular point. So I press here to get the perpendicular point, and I press enter to stop the command or finish the command. So let us say we need to do the same to this side as well. So instead of going from here, I can press space bar. So it will launch the last command. So if I press space bar, it will launch the last command, which is the line command. So I come to this endpoint and click here to get the perpendicular snap and press enter to end the command. So now I am going to create a circle from this intersection point of this circle and this line. So I will click here. So I need to get to the intersection point. So it is here, intersection. So if you are not getting the correct snap, you can press your tab key. So it will jump through the available snap options. Now it is the intersection. If I click here, it will move to the perpendicular option. If you press tab again, it will move to the center. If you press tab again, it will move to the center and the midpoint of that line. So likewise, you can move to various options. So I will move until I get the correct one. So now I have got the one I require. So I click, I have a small circle from here, right? So it is now snapping to a line. So you need to make sure that is not snapping to another line before finishing, right? Now if you click here, it will snap to a perpendicular line, but if you move further away, it will not snap. Now I can stop the command. I will click here. So I will do the same to this side. So to initiate that one, I will press space bar and I click here. Now it is the perpendicular one. I press tab. I press tab once again. Now it is the intersection. So I have another circle here. So that is about object snaps. So if you need to turn on or try the other object snaps, you can try with your own. So some of these are most basic object snaps. So we will do some more object snap practice now. So now I am going to create another circle. I will start somewhere here and it will be a small circle, right? So let us say I need to create a line from this point to this side, but it should stop on top of this center point of this curve. So to do that, you need to do something like this. You need to click object snap tracking. So that is on F11 key. The shortcut key is F11. So I'll click here. So I am going to initiate the line command. First I will snap to the endpoint where I start the line. Now I want the line to be right over top of this center line. So what I do is I will snap to the center. I will not click here, just snap to the center. Now I will go upward. It will give you a tracking line. So if you go upwards like this, when the tracking lines, this left tracking line and right tracking line meets together, it will give you that point. So I can click here. Now I have found my point. I press enter. So I do the same to the bottom side as well. To initiate the line command, I will press space bar. So I start from here. Now I am going to this way. Now I have to get this center point. I am not clicking, just hold the mouse there. Now I am coming downwards. Now when the two snaps are connected, it will show me the point. So I will click here to stop the command. Then I press enter, or otherwise you can press space bar as well. Now let us say we need another line start from here and to be tangent to this circle. One line from this side, another line from this side. So if this object snap, so we need to turn on the tangent object snap, this one. So I am going to tell you a way without turning on the object snap where we can use that object snap. So if it is a rarely used object snaps, instead of turning on the object snap, you can turn on, or you can use object snap overrides. So I will press line to initiate the line command. So I'll start it from here. Now I need to get the tangent point. So what I do is I press and hold my shift key and right click. Press and hold my shift key and right click. Then it will give you the same object snap options. Now from here I will use the tangent option and I will click here and it will show the tangent point. So I will get the tangent and stop the command by pressing enter. So I will do the same to the other side. Go to this point and I will shift, right click, then and go to tangent point and click this tangent point and press enter to finish the command. So we are using the object snap overrides which we have done at the last part only where we use very rarely, right? If you are using, or if you are always using endpoint snap, you have to turn on the endpoint snap from here. But if you are not using, let us say, tangent point more often, you can use object snap overrides to get that point instead of turning it. So that is about object snap tracking, and finally the object snap overrides. Now we are going to look at the auto function. So I will pan my drawing and make my area clear. So let us say we need to start a line. So I click this line command here. So I start the line. So let us say we need to get this line perfectly horizontal to this side, right? So how to get that? That is where we need auto option in AutoCAD. So to access that one, you can press this auto mode in the status bar, or otherwise you can press F8 key on your keyboard. So I will press here. So once I press auto mode, it will only function lines at x-axis or y-axis. Like here in this direction it is x-axis, in this direction it is y-axis. You can only draw lines or any object in x-axis direction or y-axis direction. So I start the line and I will click somewhere here. So if you want to do some more lines with this command, you can go either horizontal, otherwise you can go vertical directions. You can't go angle directions like earlier. So with the Ortho mode, you can only go in X direction or Y direction. So I will click here again to have a line, and I will click here again to have another line. So here, if the object snaps are turned on, you can finish with the end line, but other than that you cannot go anywhere except horizontal and vertical direction. So I will press escape to end the command. So we will do it one more time. I start the command. So I want to go this way, completely horizontal direction. I go this way. Let us say I go downward, and I can go this way. So I can go this way, but anyway you are going horizontal or vertical direction. So that is what is happening if you turn on Ortho mode. So if you want to turn it back off, you can either press F8 key, otherwise you can click this button to turn off the Ortho mode. So we press escape now to end the command. Now we are going to look at a function or object snap related to the angles of lines or polylines in AutoCAD. So I will pan my drawing to the right side. So first I will draw a circle. So I go to circle command, click here, then I create my circle. Right? Now I am going to start a line. So I start the line command. Now I want to start this line from the center of this circle. Since my object snap is turned on, when I click here, it will automatically highlight the center object snap. So I will click now. Even though I click at my mouse location, it will highlight to the center. So when I click here, the line will start at center. So currently my Ortho is turned on. So since it is giving me problems, I will turn off from here. Now I am going to create a line to the perimeter of this circle. Now I make it perpendicular to the circle and stop the line and press enter to end the command. So let us say I need another line, or I need to divide this circle into 30-degree increments. 30-degree increments by creating lines like this. So in AutoCAD, by default, the angles are considered in anti-clockwise direction. So since this is your x-axis, your angles will be positive, considered positive in this direction. We haven't talked about the AutoCAD units yet. When we are talking about the AutoCAD units, we will learn more about the angle and measurement units. But for the sake of this completion, we assume that our angles are positive in anti-clockwise direction. So I will initiate the command. Now there is no way for us to measure the angles here. We don't know currently how to measure the angles. So to do that one, to get the object snaps at angles, there is a special object snap called polar tracking. So you can access that by F10 key, otherwise you can click this polar tracking option. So if I come here, it will automatically snap to the 30-degree angles now. Now you can see in the tooltip it is giving us 30 degree. So when I click here, since I have intersection snap turned on, it will automatically intersect the circle at 30-degree angle. So I press enter. So I want to do it again to this side. So instead of going here, I will press space bar to relaunch the last command. So I click here. Now it will automatically highlight the 60-degree angle. So I press enter or press space bar to close the command. I start it again back here. Now it is completely 90 degrees. So likewise you can continue until you completely do this thing. Right, now I completed that. So this is where we can use polar tracking option to measure, actually to snap to angles. So if you click this arrow icon here, you will see what are the options you have. Currently we use this 30, 60, 90, 120 like 30-degree increment angle. So if you want to use some other kind of angle increment, you can use this one. If you want to go 10, 20, 30 likewise, you can use this option. You can click this one and activate that option. So it will snap to angles 10, 20 likewise. So that is how to use the polar tracking option in AutoCAD. Now we are going to look at some widely used AutoCAD commands. Here we have some AutoCAD commands: move, copy, rotate and mirror. So to practice this command, first I will draw a line from here. I click here and I want this line to be vertical. So I turn on my Ortho and I relaunch the command line and I draw this line and press enter. Then I will have a small rectangle somewhere here. Alright. So let us say we want to move this rectangle from this edge to this edge. So this edge would be coincide to this edge. So to do that we will use move command. So to launch the move command, you go here in home tab, you have move. You click here, then it is asking on the command line, select object. What are the objects you need to move? So you need to select this object. Either you can click here, otherwise you can select it like this. Then you have to press enter. After selecting the object, you have to press enter, otherwise you can right click. So I will right click. Then it is asking the base point of the move. So we want to move this point to this point. So if your object snaps are on, you can easily move, snap to the end point. So my end object snaps are turned on. So I will snap to this end point. Then it is asking what is the second point. Now I will, since it auto is on, I will turn off auto for the moment. Now it is asking what is the second point or where you need to move. So I will click this endpoint and it will move to that endpoint. Now this has been moved and it is looking like a flag. So I will pan to the left side to get some space on the right side. Now we will use copy command to copy these things to the right side. So I will launch the copy command here. Then it is asked to select the objects. So we have two objects here. I will do a crossing window selection, the green color window selection. So I select the objects. Now after selecting, I will right click to confirm. Then like earlier, it is asking for a base point. There are some other options also you can try, but I will go with the basic option. So I will select this endpoint as my base point. And it is asking where you need to have the copy. So if you want to go in a straight line, you can turn on auto. Since my object snap tracking is on, it is also going on the straight line. So I will do some copies here. So while you are going right side, you can even pan. That is also easy. So if the space is not enough, you can pan, otherwise you can zoom out also. Right. Now I will right click to end the copy. So let us say I need this rectangle to have as a copy on the other side. So you need to have same rectangle to the other side. So since you don't know the dimensions, it is little bit cumbersome at this stage. So at this kind of situation, we use the command called mirror. So it is like a mirror because it is the complete opposite side of a mirror. Inside the mirror, you can see the complete opposite what is in front of the mirror. So I will launch the mirror command. So it's asking like earlier, select the objects. I will select this object, then right click to confirm. Then it is asking the first point of the mirror line. That means you have to specify a mirror line or specify a mirror. So first I will select this endpoint and I will move right on top on a vertical line and select the second point. Now mirror is confirmed. Then it is asking on the command line whether you want to erase the source object. That means after mirror, do you want to delete this object? So we don't want to delete this object. We need to keep that object. So we say no. You can click here no. Otherwise it is already selected no. So I will select no here. Otherwise you can press enter. Either case. So I will press no here. Now it is now mirrored to the other side. Then we will do some work with rotate command. Let us say we need to rotate this flag 90 degrees, or without considering the number of degrees, let us say we need to rotate this object, complete thing. So I will launch my rotate command. Then it is asking on the command line to select the object. So this time I will, using a crossing window, I will select the objects and press enter. Then it is asking the base point from where you want to rotate. So I will say I want to rotate from here. Then it is, you can specify a rotation angle. Otherwise, if you move the mouse cursor around, it will automatically rotate. So let us say I want to stop it somewhere here, right, like that. So we will do another rotation. This time I will rotate this one. Select the object and right click. This time I will rotate from here. So if I rotate, so it will automatically rotate from that object. You can see. Even you can give an angle here, but since we haven't used the angle options yet, I am not going to give an angle. So instead of that, we will just use the mouse cursor location to rotate the get the rotation angle. So I will, let us say I will stop somewhere here. So that is about some of the basic AutoCAD commands, and always they are used widely. Now we are going to look at two more commands in AutoCAD, that is stretch command and scale command. So first of all, we will create a rectangle. So I go here, click here to create a rectangle. Now I create my rectangle. Right. Now let us say we need to stretch this rectangle to this side. So this is how to use stretch option to stretch this rectangle to this side. So I click this stretch command. Now you need to select this object because it is in the command line, it is asked to select the objects. You need to select the object through a crossing window. So in that selection, you need to highlight which side you need to stretch. So you are stretching to this side, so you have to select this in this way, right? So after selecting, press right click. Then it is asking for a base point. So we will stretch from here. So now you can see it is stretching to that side. So that is how to use the stretch command. We will do it one more time. So this time I will stretch to this side. So I will launch the stretch command. Then I select the object. Then right click. Select this base point. And now it is stretching to this side. Right. Now next we will see what is the scale command. Let us say we need to change this rectangle to a scale of 2. That means we will create a rectangle that is twice bigger than this one. So for that one we can use scale command. So I click here. Then it is asking to select the object. I will select my object. Now I press right click, and for the base point I will select this point. Now when I move my mouse cursor, it will show the object is scaling or shrinking. So if I type my scale factor as 2, it will give you a rectangle twice bigger than the earlier one. So I will zoom out and you can see a rectangle which is twice bigger than the earlier rectangle. So that is how to use stretch command and scale command in AutoCAD. Now we are going to look at trim and extend command in AutoCAD. So before moving on to the commands, I will create some objects in my drawing area. So I move on to polyline command. So first I am drawing a polyline from down to upward, and now moving to the east direction and press enter. So this is the first time we are using the polyline command. So it is same like the line command but little bit different. So then I will create another polyline, start from here and stop somewhere here and go into the west direction, and so press enter to stop. So let us suppose we need to cut off these extra line parts here. So for that task we will use trim command in AutoCAD, the trim command. So I click here. So the trim command and extend command is little bit different in the newer versions of AutoCAD. 2021 version, they have modified the trim and extend commands. So you have to use the mode here and make sure you are using the quick mode when you are doing this work. So I am using the quick mode. So then you can click here, it will automatically trim off or cut off the extra line part here. So I will press enter to finish the command. So now let us look at how to use extend command. So assume that we need to extend this line up to this point. So we need extend command. So in the home tab we go extend, and without doing anything we have to use this line. It will automatically extend to the other line and I can press enter to finish the command. So that is how you can use extend command. So we have another extra line extending here. So you need to trim off this line. So to do that I can use trim command and trim here and press enter to finish the command. But there is another easy way to do all these things at once. So let us look at how to do that one. So I will press undo until I get the initial things. Like here, I press undo, Control Z, otherwise you can go from here. So now I launched trim command again. So make sure you are in the quick mode. Now I am in the quick mode and I press here. It will delete the extra line, and here also when I click it will delete the extra line part. And now what I am going to do is I am going to extend this part. So without going to the extend command, I will press and hold my shift key on my keyboard and click this line. It will automatically extend to the other part. Now I click this one. It will automatically trim off that extra part. So that is how you do trim and extend both at once. So if you start the trim command, you can get the extend by shift key, and if you start with the extend command, you can get the trim by pressing shift key. So that is how you can use extend and trim commands in AutoCAD. Now we are going to learn some more AutoCAD commands. They are fillet, chamfer, offset and explode. So before initiating the command, I will create a rectangle. From here I am going to create rectangle. I click here, then I draw my rectangle here. It's a fairly large one. So let us say I want to curve this edge. So for that one, we use the fillet command. So we click this fillet option. First of all, I need this kind of a curved shape here. First, I need to define the radius here. What kind of radius I am going to use. So let us say this radius is 20 units. So we haven't set up the units here yet. We haven't talked about the units. Just we think we have 20 unit radius here. So now I type my unit radius as 20 units. I press enter. Then I select my first object. It's asking to select the first object. I select my first object. Then I will select my second object. So it will automatically fillet these two lines with a curve, a radius of 20 units. So I will do the same to the other side as well. To relaunch the last command, I will press space bar. So first I will select this option. Now I don't want to select the radius because it is already in the memory of AutoCAD. So that 20 unit radius is already in the memory of AutoCAD. So I will click here. Automatically it will add a radius of 20 units to connect these two lines. So that is about connecting the curved shape, connecting the edges with a curved shape. So now we will look at the chamfer command. Chamfer, right? This time what happens here is it will connect by a small line section. So I will click chamfer. So it is asking the first line. I will select the first line, and it is asking the second line. So I have to use a distance or angle to set up this chamfer. So I will have a distance here. Let us say this distance is 10 units and press enter. So now I will select the second line. Press enter to finish the distance, and I will select the second line. So it will connect these two lines by another line with distance of 10 meters. So I will do the same to the other side. I press space bar. So it will launch the last command. I will select this first line, and my distance measurement is already in the memory. So I will select the second line. So it will chamfer with a line of 10 meter distance. That is how to use chamfer and fillet commands in AutoCAD. Now we are going to look at offset command in AutoCAD. So before that we will create a rectangle. So I have access rectangle option here and create a rectangle. So let us see, I want to have another rectangle exactly 20 meter from this rectangle, outside 20 meter. So this is where we need the offset command. So I access the offset command from here. Offset command, I click here. It is asking what is the offset distance. So we are offsetting 20 unit distance. So I type 20 unit. This 20 unit may be 20 millimeters, 20 meters, 20 centimeters, 20 feet, 20 inches, like that, because it depends on the units on your drawing. So if your drawing units is millimeters, it will be 20 millimeters. If your drawing unit is meters, it will be 20 meters, like that. So I press enter after entering 20. So it is asking what is the object you need to offset. So I select this object. Now then it is asking to which side you want to offset. If I want to offset to the outside, so I click outside. You have to click outside, then it will offset to the outside. So if you want to offset this one from to another 20 units, you can click it and go outside again. You will get another rectangle with a 20 meter offset. So if you want to go inside, you can click this rectangle and click inside. It will give you another rectangle with 20 units inside to the initial rectangle. So finally, I will press enter to finish the command. So that is how to use the offset command in AutoCAD. Now we are going to look at the explode command in AutoCAD. So that is also one of the widely used command, the explode command. So let us say what is done using the explode command. So if I select this rectangle, you can see the whole thing is getting selected. So I press escape. If I select the other rectangle, you can see same thing happens because whole thing getting selected. So same thing is happening to the other rectangles as well. So when you are selecting, all the things will be selected at once. All these lines will be selected at once. So I press escape now. Let us say you want to divide or explode this rectangle or this. To make this rectangle where you can select these individual lines. This is where we need the explode command. So we are disjoining or ungrouping these lines so that we can select them one by one. So you can access explode from here in the home tab, explode. Then once you click it, it is asking what is the object you need to explode. It may be one object or it may be multiple objects. Let us say we are going to explode all these objects to single units. So to do that, I select all these rectangles using a crossing window. Then I press enter. So all the things will be exploded. Now you can verify it by clicking them. Once you click them, now you will not select a rectangle, you will only select an individual line. So if I select this one, it will be an individual line. I press escape, then I select this one, it is an individual line. Now that connection like a rectangle is gone, now they are individual entities. So this is where we need the explode command in AutoCAD. Here we are going to look at some widely used but we already known command, which is the erase command. Erase command is used to delete or erase objects in AutoCAD drawings. So to get the erase command or to erase something from your AutoCAD screen, there are several ways. One way is you can use the erase command. The other way is you can simply use the delete button on your keyboard. So if I want to delete this line, I can select this line and press delete in my keyboard. So if you want to delete all three lines, you can select all three lines at once and press delete. So this is one way of deleting in AutoCAD. The other way is deleting by the erase command. So to access erase command, you need to go to here in the home tab. You have this erase option. So it is asking select object to erase. So you have to select that object and it will be automatically erased. So once you can select everything you need to erase, otherwise you can use crossing windows like this. After finishing, you can press enter, then everything will be getting deleted from the screen. That is how we use erase command in AutoCAD. Now we are going to look at the array command in AutoCAD. So before launching the array command, we will first create a small rectangle. Right, now I have created a rectangle. So let us say we need the same rectangle 5 times to this side and 5 times to the vertical side. So to do this in once, we use the array command in AutoCAD. So you can access array command here. You click here, rectangular array, that is the thing you get. And it is asking first select the object. So once you select the object and press enter, it will automatically give you some suggestions as an array. So you can modify it if you are not satisfied with that. So it says you have 4 columns and 3 rows. You have 4 columns and 3 rows. So let us say we need 5 columns and 5 rows. So you have to type 5 here and 5 here. So you have 5 columns and 5 rows. So this is the spacing between these rows and between these columns. Let us say we need spacing 70 meter spacing, and it will, you can see automatically or dynamically it is updating. Let us say this is 50. So between rows 50 meter distance, it will automatically update. So after that you can press enter when you are satisfied with the array. So this is kind of a scenario where you have a seating arrangement or desk arrangement in a hall. So this is where we use array command in AutoCAD. AutoCAD commands, that is break and join. So to access them, you need to go to this modify panel. So you need to expand this modify panel. There you have this join and break commands. So break, there is 2 options, break and break at point, and join, there is only 1 command here. So we will be using break at point command and the join command here. So currently I have a polyline here. So when you select this polyline, you can see it is getting selected. So first I will break this polyline into 2. So I go to this modify panel, expand it here. So if you want to make it, so once you move the mouse cursor out, it will shrink. So to make it appear all the time, you can click this thumbtack icon here, so it will be appearing all the time. So I use this command break at point. I use this option. So I will select anywhere on this line. So to select any point on this line, you have to use the nearest snap option, otherwise it is only snapping to the end point, center point and the other end point. So to get the nearest snap, I will use object snap overrides. I will shift and right click, press shift and right click and access to nearest here. Now I can select any location in the line. So I will select somewhere here and it will break this polyline into 2. So it is selecting from this side one part and on the other side we will have another part. This is how to break a polyline or even a line or even an AutoCAD object through the break at point command. I am not going to use it, but if you want to use this option, it will break with a small gap in between. So now I am going to join these lines, join these two lines. So I will use the join command here. So once you click it, it is asking to select the objects. So you can select one by one, otherwise you can select all the objects where you want to connect. So I will select all these objects where I want to connect. Then I press enter. Now it will become one polyline. There will be a small grip here, we call them grips. There will be a small grip where the joining happens. So that is how to use break and join commands in AutoCAD. All this time we used to access commands through the ribbon. To initiate a command, we click this option. If you need to create a line, we click this option. If you need to create a polyline, we click this option. So we initiate all the commands through the ribbon. But in AutoCAD, you can use the command line to initiate these commands. Sometimes it will be easier than going through this ribbon process. So we will be looking at what are the shortcut keys to initiate these commands in AutoCAD through the command line. So I will be doing some of these commands, but in the description of the video I will attach a list of commands you can access through the command line with a shortcut key. So to initiate the line command, you need to type L on your command line and press enter. So it will let you draw a line. So after that you can press enter. If you want to create a polyline, the command line shortcut is PL. It will give you polyline. It will automatically show PL means polyline. PL line means polyline. So you type PL and press enter. So it will let you create a polyline. Right? Then press enter. Let us say you want to create a circle here. Instead clicking the ribbon, we will type C on your command line and press enter. Then it will let you create a circle. So let us say you need to create an arc here. So I am going to create an arc here. We haven't, I think, done this earlier. You can use this by A command. A stands for arc. Then I will click for the start point, then click for a middle point somewhere in the middle, and then click for a final point to create the arc. That is a 3-point arc. So let us say you want to create a rectangle now. Instead of going through the ribbon, you can type REC and press enter. It will let you create a rectangle. Then let us say you want to move this rectangle object somewhere away. So to do that, instead of going through the ribbon, you can type M and press enter. So it will let you move the command. This is the same thing we did in the move command. Let us say we need to copy this rectangle to somewhere here. So you cannot this time type C for copy, because we type C for circle. For copy you need to type CO. So you can type CO and press enter. Then you can select the object and select a base point and do the copy and press enter for a final time to end the command. So then for stretch you have to type STR. For scale you have to type S. For trim you have to type TR. Fillet F. Array AR. Then offset you have to type O. For explode you have to type EX. Likewise you can use the command line shortcut keys to launch the commands through the command bar instead of going through the ribbon. So that is about accessing the commands through the command line. So I am attaching a resource file where you can get most of the command line shortcuts to initiate the commands in AutoCAD. Now we are going to look at how to change the display color, this background color in AutoCAD. So if you do not like this background color when you are working, you can change it to a desired color. So to do that, you need to right click on your workspace, then move to options. There you have to move to display tab, and from there to colors section. There under 2D model space context, under interface element, uniform background, this is the default color given by the Autodesk. So if you want to change this color, you can change it to a color like white if you like, then click apply and close. It will change to this color. So if you do not like that color, let us say if you like black color, you can try that as well. So if none of that work, and if you like to maintain the initial colors or default colors for the uniform background, just click restore current element, then it will restore the default color. So that is how to set the background color in AutoCAD. Finally, you can click apply and close and click OK to accept the color for your uniform background. Here we are looking at a user related setting in AutoCAD, that is adjusting the mouse and pick box. So you can see in my mouse location you can see a crosshair, a cross. So we call this crosshair in AutoCAD. So when you are drafting, this crosshair size is not enough for you. You can change it to a desired size. In addition to that, in the middle of the crosshair you can see a small box. We call it the pick box. So if that pick box size is not enough or it is too big, you can adjust that as well. So to access that, we will right click on your mouse and go to options. There you have this display tab, and using the display tab you have to go to this crosshair size, and let us say you need to increase the crosshair size to, let us say, 25, like here. Okay, otherwise you can type 25 here and you press enter. Now you will see my crosshair size increases. So you can use the comfortable size. To set the pick box, you have to again go to the options, go to the selection tab here. There you have this pick box. So when I increase this size, it will automatically increase in size. You can see it on the screen. So I click OK. Now you will see my pick box size is also increased. This is how to adjust your crosshairs and pick box when you are drafting in AutoCAD. Now we are moving to an important part of AutoCAD, that is setting units. Everything you do in AutoCAD is related to units. So far we did everything without considering the units. Even we measured something, we thought about having this much of units without considering the exact value, whether it is 5 millimeters, 5 centimeters, 5 meters, so like that. So now we are going to setting up the units in AutoCAD. To access units, you have two ways. So you can go to application menu, click here, then go to drawing utilities. Then there you have drawing units. From here you can call drawing units. So the easiest way to access units is type UN on your command line. It stands for units. You type UN and press enter. It will display the current drawing units in your drawing. So these units are solely depends on the user. So if you want to use inches, you can set this to inches. If you want to use millimeters, you can set it to millimeters. Otherwise, if you want to get some others, you can use those units. On the other hand, this part considers how the length displays in drawing. So if you are using millimeters, if you set decimal units, it will show the length measurement up to 2 decimal degrees. You can otherwise set to 3 decimal degrees like that. If you are using feet and inches, let us say you are using feet, you can set it to this architectural units where you can see the measurements using feet and inches. So I will set this to millimeters and set this to decimal with 2 precision. And when you are considering the angles are measured in decimal degrees and it will show up in 4 degree precision. So you can set other things as well, like degrees, minutes, seconds, and you can set the precision. So I will set this to degrees here, and here this clockwise means to what directions the angles are measured. So when you are measuring angles, what is the positive direction? It is what says here. So currently we have clockwise unchecked. That means the angles are measured in anti-clockwise direction. It means the angles are measured in this direction, right? So if you want to measure the angles on the other way, you can check this box. But by default and usually we are measuring angles to this side, so we will keep the defaults. So if you go to this direction here, it will show the what is the direction control for angles. So currently the direction control for angles is east as the base direction. That means east direction will act as the 0 degree angle and it will be going anti-clockwise direction by counting positive angles. If you need, you can change this base angle direction, but we are not going to change those things. So that is how to set the drawing units on your drawing. Here we are going to look at another important factor in AutoCAD, that is dynamic input. So before moving to that, we will draw these 2 lines displayed in this image on our AutoCAD screen. First, I have to make sure my units are millimeters because these are given in millimeters. So to verify that, I will type UN on my command line and make sure my units are millimeters. So I click OK. So now I am creating the lines. You can create the line using line command, or also you can use polyline command. I will use the line command. You can either use this option or otherwise you can click the shortcut key, which is L on your command line. So I will start the line from here. So I make sure my Ortho Mode is on, then I will get a straight line like this. So I will type 1000 on my command line to get a 1000 millimeter line and press enter, and it will give you a 1000 millimeter line. So I will end the command by pressing enter. So let us say I am going to draw the next line. So I do the same. I do it in the same way. I click here to launch the line command. So I'll start somewhere from here to this way. I will type 500. So it will give you 500 millimeter line. Now I want to go to the 20-degree angle for a 500 millimeter length. Now my ortho is distracting me, so I will turn off ortho here. Now I want to get 20-degree angle. So if you want to snap to angles, the best way is to use the polar tracking. So I will turn on polar here, polar tracking. So I will move here. It is saying my angle is, you can see on the tooltip, it is saying my angle is 10. So I will click one more time. It will snap to 20-degree angle. So what I need to do is type 500. So it will go 500 millimeter along that line. So I will type 500 and press enter. So press enter again to end the command. So you get this 500 millimeter line and this 500 millimeter line. So this was little bit cumbersome because you have to turn off several commands on and off throughout this process. So now I am going to tell an easy way to do this. So I will delete these lines. I select them and press delete on my keyboard. So this time I will turn on my dynamic input. So dynamic input is somewhere here, dynamic mode. So you have to click here. So if it is not here, you can go to this customization and go to dynamic input and make sure you have a check mark on it. So it will appear here on the status bar. Now I relaunch the polyline line command again. So I will start somewhere here. Now you can see instead of when I move the cursor, a length display is showing at the top. You can see it is dynamically updating when I move the cursor. That is we called the dynamic input. So it will automatically shows our lengths and also angles while we are moving our cursor. I want to have 500 millimeter length, so I will type 500 millimeter. So you will see it is typing at the cursor location. Then I press enter. Now what I need is 500 millimeters with a 20-degree angle. So what I do is first I will type 500. So then without pressing the enter key, I will press tab key. I will press tab key. So it will move to the angle location. First I gave the length, now it moves to the angle location. For the angle I will type 20 and press enter. So it will automatically give a line with 500 millimeter length at a 20-degree angle. So you can see with dynamic input turn on, you can access or you can draft things very easily. So to turn off dynamic input, you can press this key, or otherwise you can press F12 key on your keyboard. So if you press F12 key, you will see that icon turns back to gray without turning on. So that is how to use dynamic input and turn on off dynamic input. Now we are going to draft some objects using the things we have learned so far. So during this drafting, we will be using the things we learned, and also sometimes we will be using additional workflows or commands as well. So first I am going to draft these objects using the dimensions given here. So before doing anything, I have to make sure that my drawing is in millimeters. So I will type UN in my command line to access units. So I verify my units are millimeters and click OK. So I start using the line command. So you can do this in various ways. First I will do this using the line command. So I type L on my keyboard. So you can see now my typing is happening near the cursor because my dynamic input is turned on. So I press enter, and I also make sure my ortho is turned on because I have horizontal and vertical lines. So I start somewhere here. Now I have to go to 1000 millimeters to the right side. I type 1000 and press enter. Now it goes to 1000 millimeters. So I get some space by panning to the left side. Now I have to go to downside 100 millimeters. I type 100 and press enter. Now I have to go to another 500 millimeters to the right side. I type 500 and press enter. Now I have to go to 800 millimeters downside. I type 800 and press enter. So while you are typing 800, make sure you are going downside with your mouse cursor, and I press enter. Now that part is okay. Now I have to come to the left side, that is 500. So I type 500 and press enter. Now I have to go downside another 100 millimeters. So I pan to make it little bit upward. Now I go 100 millimeters downside. Next I have another 1000 millimeters to the left side. Then I type 1000 and press enter. Finally you have another 1000 millimeter to the upward or the north direction. Instead of typing 1000 millimeters, I am just clicking here to close this object using the object snaps. So it will close the object, and I press enter to end the commands. Now I have created that object using the line command. So if I select this line, only one line will be selected. So if this is a complete single object, I can join these lines to make it a one single object. So to do that, I will run my join command. I type J on my keyboard to launch the join command. Then I press enter. Now I have to select the objects I need to join. So I select all these objects. Make sure you are selecting only the objects you need to join. Then I press enter. Now if you select, you can see all the lines are now selected, but now this line is a polyline because you have multiple lines connected to it. So on the other hand, instead of using the line command, you can directly complete this object using the polyline command as well. So let us do it quickly. So before doing that, I will erase this object. To erase this object, either you can press delete after selecting the object, otherwise you can go to this erase command and select this line and press enter to delete. So now I launch my polyline command. I type PL on my cursor location and I start the command. So I start from here, 1000 to the right side, 100 millimeters to the downside, 500 to the right side, then 800 downside, again 500 to the left, downside another 100 millimeters, to the left 1000 millimeters. This time, since we are using the polyline command, you can finish the polyline to connect to the initial location using the close command, or pressing C on your keyboard, or click this close here. So once you click this close here, it will automatically close this polyline from the last point to the initial point. Now you can see it is already created the same thing using the polyline. Now we are going to create another object using the dimensions illustrated here. You can see this is kind of a frame. We called it a window frame. You can see you have a bigger rectangle and you have some smaller rectangles. So I am going to recreate this using the dimensions specified here. So first of all, I will create the bigger rectangle outside. So you can see it has length 914.4 to this side and another 914.4 to the other side. So I will do this using the line command. So I type L on my keyboard and make sure your auto is on. So I start somewhere here and I go this side 914.4 and I press enter. Now I am going downside. It is also 914.4 and go to the other side 914.4 and finally I go upside and click to finish the command and get the rectangle. So I did this using the lines because now I can do this. I can use offset command very easily. There are many more several ways to do these things, but this is only one way. So you can see now to this side we have 13.8.1 offset. So now I have finished the bigger rectangle. Now I am going to create this smaller rectangle inside. So that is 13.8.1 offset to this side and another 13.8.1 to this side, and the length of that line is here. You can see it is 406.4. So first I will offset 38.1 meter. So I typed offset command, then I type 38.1. You can see my typing is near the cursor because my dynamic input is turned on. So I press enter. Now I offset this to this side and I have the same distance to this side, so I can use just one as well. And since this is not specified, that means this has the same dimensions. So I will move to this side also, then I press enter. So after that I have to mark this dimension. Instead marking, I will use 406.4 offset from this line to downward. So I call my offset command, typing O on my keyboard and press enter. Then what is the offset distance? This is the offset distance, 406.4. I press enter. Now I select this object and move downward and press enter. So now part of the object is now already created, but we have some additional lines here. So what I do is I will use my trim command to remove those additional lines. So to launch the trim command, either you can press TR on your keyboard, otherwise you can press trim from here. So I press trim. Make sure your trim mode is set to quick, and once you have to click quick, and once you I set the screen for a good view. Now you can remove these additional lines to make it a better rectangle. So I will remove those additional parts here also. Now I press enter. So now the second rectangle is also completed. The next rectangle, you can see it is at a 25.4 distance to this side and 25.4 to distance to the other side. So you can easily use the normal offset command. Otherwise you can make this a rectangle and use the offset command. So we will make this a rectangle and use the offset command. So I click join command to join those lines. I click J and press enter. Now I select these lines to join them and I press enter. Now they have become a one polyline. So now I launch my offset command. This time I will launch it from the ribbon, and my offset distance is 25.4. Then I select this object and go inside to offset 25.4 to the inside. So quickly in the same way I will do this rectangle as well. You can see this offset is 50.8 and this is 38.1. To this side it is 25.4. Sorry, it is same as the other side for the first rectangle, between the first and second rectangles, but inside you have the one offset. So I will launch the offset command. This is 50.8 and come to this side and I press enter, and I can do the same for the other side as well. I forgot. So I will relaunch the offset command by pressing my space bar, and it is already in the memory my last value. So I press enter to accept that value, and I do the same to the other side as well and press enter. So I relaunch the offset command by pressing space bar. Now this time my offset is 38.1. Now I press enter and offset to the top side. I press enter. Now my length to this side is 506.4. So I use offset command again, and this time I type 406.4 and offset to the top side and press enter. Now my rectangle is completed. I will remove the additional lines. I launch my trim command. This time I will use this line, 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 and this line, and I press enter. But you can see, because we have some additional lines here without trimming, so that is because of the quick trim mode. So I will erase these lines from this erase command. We'll use this one and this one to erase and press enter. So now I will convert this to a rectangle using the join command. I relaunch join command from entering J and select these objects and press enter. Now it is already a rectangle. Now you have to offset 25.4. So I launch the offset command, type 25.4 and come inside. Now this object is completed. So this is how to create that frame using the commands we learned. Now we are going to model this object using the commands we learned earlier, as well as sometimes we will use a new command as well. So first of all, I will create this rectangle. So I will launch the rectangle command from here, and I will start somewhere here to draw the rectangle. To give dimensions, I will go to the command line and select dimensions. Otherwise, you can press D on your keyboard, the letter highlighted in the blue color. So I click this dimensions. It is asking what is your length. It is 1524, and I press enter. When it is asking your width, this is 914.4. So I give the width as 914.4 and press enter. Now it is asking at what side you need to get the rectangle. You can go upward or downward. So I come to downward side and click. So it will create the rectangle for us. Now the rectangle is okay. Now you need to create these other parts. So since this is one object, and you can see these are offsets we have to get. Now this is one object. So if you have lines, it is easy to make these offsets. So what I do is I will explode these things. Explode the rectangle. So I select the explode command and select the rectangle and press enter. Now it is become single lines. Now I will give the offset. This offset 101.6, and you have the same offset to the other side. So I launch the offset command, type O on my keyboard and press enter. My offset distance is 100.1, 101.6 and press enter. So I use that offset to this side and from the bottom to top and left to right and press enter. So if you come to this side, this offset is 457.2. So I will mark that offset 2. Then press enter. So I will remove these additional parts. I launch the trim command and I will remove these additional parts. And this part is also not needed. I will remove that as well. Then I press enter. Then you need to create this arc. This is a arc. So we don't know this is half rectangle. So better to consider this as an arc. So I launch this arc command. So I know the first point and the second point of the arc and the radius of the arc. So from this drop down, you need to find that the option that supports your known points. You have start, end and radius. You know start, end and radius. So I select this option and select this end point because my object snap is turned on, and select the other end point, and it is asking the radius. So I will type 355.6. Now it came to the other direction. Once I click, it came to the other direction. So I want to go into the other side. What I do is I will launch my mirror command here, mirror command, and I will select this object to mirror and right click. Now my mirror line is this line. Now I want to erase this other object because I don't want that one. So I press yes to erase that object. Now it is going to the other side. So there are a lot of several ways to do this in one time, but I am going to teach you various commands, right? So now this part is completed. Now what we have to do is get these circles in the center of this area. So it is from a 228.6 offset from this side and 457.2 offset from the other side. So I launch my offset command and press enter. Now my value is 222.28.6 from the left side, and I press enter. I relaunch the command. Now my value is 457.2 from the top, and I come downward, and this is the place we join our thing. Now I have to draw two circles where radius of one circle is 25.4 and the other is 38.1. So I launch my circle command. So if you like, you can go to this way. You know the center and you know the radius. So I use this option. I click this center point, make sure now it is highlighting a midpoint, but I need the intersection point of this line. So I press my tab key. Now intersection is highlighted. Now I click. Now I need to specify the radius. So now I type my radius as 25.4. Now I relaunch the command again because I need to have another circle here, space. Now my center is here. I use my tab key to get the required snap. This center snap is also okay because we need the same center from the other one. So I click here. Now my radius is 38.1. Now I finished drafting the lines. Now what I want to do is I want to delete these extra lines. So I click launch my trim command and I will delete these extra lines, and I don't need these small parts as well. and I press enter to finish the command. Now you can see we have another one remaining, so I will select this one and press delete without using the trim command. So here you can see now I have created that object using the dimensions specified in the image. So it is another way how to use the commands and tools we used in the earlier session of this series. Now we are going to create another object using the drafting tools and commands we learned so far. So I will first launch my line command, and I will first draw this center line. I will start from somewhere here and I go upward. It is 671.63 and press enter. Right, then here you have to go 609.6. I come here and I go this way because Ortho Mode is turned on. Press enter. Now I want to go downward. Now I launch the line command again. I need to go downward 39.57. I go downward 39.57 and press enter. Now I have this line. So to the right side, to the left side, I want to go 152.4. Then I press enter again. Now to the top side, I need to go 660.4. 660.4 and I press enter to finish. Now I need to mark this 572.27. So I have to mark it from the bottom. So but I need to mark it from here. This time we will use a new method to create this line, because I need to find the length of this line because it is given from this point. So I have to subtract 39.57 from 572.27. For this task we will use the calculator. You type quick calc on the command line. So you got this command line suggestion, quick calc. So you will get the calculator. So what you do is you subtract 572.27 minus 39.57. It will give you the answer as 532.7. So I will launch my line command and I will click here and 532.7 I mark and press enter. So I will close my calculator. Now I have finished one part. So if you consider this part, it is similar to this part. So what I do is I will use the mirror command. So I will click mirror here and select the objects you need to mirror. You can select all these objects, then press enter to accept. Now your mirror line would be this one, and you don't want to erase this side because you need the source objects as well. So I click no here. Now I completed half of the design. Now I need to create this arc. So I don't have any radius information, but if you look closely, you have 3 points. You know that where this arc is created. So you go to the arc mode, click this drop down, select this 3-point arc. You have to click this endpoint, and this endpoint you have your object snaps turned on and come to this point. Now your arc is completed. Now you have to create this next arc. So this arc is 152.4 offset from the first arc. So without using the offset command, what we use is first extend this line up to 152.4. So instead of extending, what I do is I will mark another line with 152.4 length. So I launch my line command, select this endpoint. So even this is endpoint, or even you can select the intersection point. I go upwards, it's 152.4 and press enter to finish command. And now I do is I have 3-point arc here. So I click this 3-point arc, click this point, and finally this point to create the arc. So I don't want this line here, and there's one more line to be created here, but you can see there is no detail how to create this line. So that is happening in actual world. Sometimes you will have not enough dimensions. In that case, you have to consult the person who give this to you and say, hey, you are not giving me all the details, please give this detail. So these are happening in the real world. So I purposely made that so that you get that kind of experience. Now we are going to create another object using the AutoCAD commands we used and with some new commands as well. So I will start from the center. I have a curve here with a radius of 25.4 and a radius of 38.1. So I launch the circle command and I select some center point, and my radius is 25.4 and I press enter. Now I have another circle with a radius 38.1. I launch the same circle command, and this time I need to snap to the center. So my centers, make sure your center snap is turned on. Make sure your center snap is turned on. Now my center snap is turned on. So I click here. Now my radius is 38.1. Now that part is completed. So next we have 3 circles, but actually they are not circles. They are ellipse or oval shaped circles. So to create that one, we need to go to this ellipse option and click this one, center. So we are going to snap to the center. Now it is asking endpoint axis length over the endpoint. So you have to give the endpoint on this axis. You can see this one is 188.48. So I type 188.48 and press enter. Now it is getting this angle. It is asking for the length on the other side. It is 153.33. 153.33. I enter. Now my ellipse is completed. So then you have to have another 2 ellipses. You cannot use the offset command because these offset values are different in this area and this area. So instead I will use this same ellipse command, but we will be adding this length to get this one. So I launch this ellipse command and I start from the center, and my distance, this time I have to give some addition of the distance. Earlier we used the quick calculator to get these distances. This time, instead of giving the quick calculator, I will do the calculations inside the command. So to access the calculator inside, I will type apostrophe cal. You can see it in my cursor location, apostrophe cal. Then I press enter. Now it is asking my expression. So my expression is 188.48 plus 98.17. Then I press enter. Now this part is okay. Now go to the other side. I do the same apostrophe cal. This time 153.33 plus 79.13 and press enter. Right. Now I move to the other ellipse. So I move the command, and this time I will select the rect center. I move apostrophe cal and 188.48 plus 98.17 plus 24.14, and to the other side use apostrophe cal 153.33 plus 79.13 plus 20.08 and press enter. Now that part is also completed. Now we have to have 2 more lines here. So I create my line command, launch my line command. From here I go to the top. So it is hard to get. I will zoom in. Now it is hard to get the vertical line. So I will stop somewhere here and press enter, and I get another one and stop somewhere here. Now what I do is I will launch the extend command first. Extend command. Now I will launch extend command and here. Now I want to trim these lines. So what I do is I will press my shift key and click these lines. It will trim off. You can easily trim off the other part. Now our object is completed. So that is how to use the basic and additional commands to create this object from AutoCAD drafting tools. So now we are going to create one last object to complete this practice object creation using AutoCAD commands and tools we learned. So you can see we have a big rectangle here, 672 and 406.4. I will create that rectangle, launch from here, rectangle command, and I start somewhere from here, and I will give the dimensions, length 762 and width 406.4, and I will click somewhere downside to accept the rectangle. Now I have finished my first part. So now I want to create this rectangle. This is 304.8 and this is 330.2. So I am doing it in a separate way this time. First I will create this rectangle. So I create this rectangle starting from this corner. Now I give my dimensions. I type T on my keyboard to give the dimensions. Press space bar. My length is, let us say this side 300.8 and other side 330.2. So I have my rectangle. I click downwards to accept that one. So now what I do is I will move this rectangle to the correct location. So along this way you have to move to 127. Along vertically you have to move 25.4. So I launch my move command. I type M on my keyboard and press enter, or otherwise press space bar. I select this object and press space bar. So I am going to move it from here and I am going to move this way on the horizontal direction. It is 127 units, also 127 millimeters. Now it moved to that way. Now I relaunch my move command, type M and select the object, select this end point. Now I am going to move this way. Now it is vertically going downwards. My moving distance is 25.4. You can see now it is moved by 25 point move to in the vertical direction and 127 to the horizontal direction. Now this part is completed. Now I am going to create this rectangle. So I will create another rectangle on this side and move to this side. So I launch my rectangle command, come this way, and it will be coming like this, and I will be giving the dimensions here, and my length is 76.2 and my width is 228.8. Now I will click this lower left to accept that rectangle. Now I will move this. I press move command, select the object, select this from this corner. On this side I will be moving it 228.6. Then I want to lower it down. I relaunch the move command. Press here. I want to lower it down by 25.4 millimeters. I created that part as well. Now I am going to create this rectangle part without this leg. So first I need to create this, find this point. So first I have to offset this line upwards. Since this rectangle is already exploded, I can offset to upside. So I relaunch the offset command. 50.8 is the offset we required. So we offset this here. So now we want to have 76.4 distance upward. So what I do is I relaunch the polyline command. So I snap to here. Using the object snap tracking, I will come down to here. This is where I start the line. I click here to start the line. Now I am going upward 76.2. Now I move to the right side. It is 279.4. And I am coming back 76.2 and press enter to finish the command. So now I will delete this line. This is because I don't want it. I will press select it and delete that. Now I am going to create this rectangle part. It is from an offset of 25.4. So the size of this rectangle is 50.8 to this side and this side, both sides. So this is how I am going to draw it. So I click rectangle command. So I put my mouse cursor here, but this is not the location I want to start. I am coming back to this side because my object snap tracking is turning on. It is going along this line. So now I want a 25.4 distance. I type 25.4. That on that point 25.4 to this side. Then I press enter. Now it catches that point. Now I am going to create that rectangle. I type dimensions 50.8 and 50.8. Now I will click this side, click this upper side to get that rectangle. Now I am going to create the smaller rectangles. I am using the same method I found used to create this rectangle, but these dimensions are 25.4 each side. So I relaunch the rectangle command. This time I am starting from, I am not going to click, I am just holding my mouse cursor here. Now I am going this way. It should be 25.4 meter distance, and now it is starting from here. Now I am going to give the dimensions. It should be 25.4 both sides, and I am clicking downwards to accept the rectangle, but still I want to move this downward by 25.4 millimeters. So I launch my move command and select this one and press space bar. Now I am going to move this from this grip or this edge. I click here and I am going downward 25.4 millimeters and done. So now I want to have similar copies of the rectangles, 5 to this side and 5 to bottom side. So you can do it in two ways. One way is you can use the array command. The other one is you can use the copy command. I am going to use the copy command to create these objects. So I launch my copy command from here. Select this object and right click. So I click this corner as my base point. Now I copy this to make it 5 objects and press enter to close that one. So now I can launch copy command again and select all these objects to copy them downward. So I launch my copy command again. And I select this one, right click and use this base point and move it to the downside and press enter. Now that part is also completed. Now I am going to create this part. I am going to create this part using a polyline. So I will launch my polyline command. So I am going to go to this endpoint. I am not clicking there. Now I am going to upwards using the object snap tracking. Make sure your object snap trackings are turned on. So I want to go to have 76.2 meter length upward. Now it's okay. Now I am starting it from here. Now I will turn off my auto because it is giving me problems. Now I want to get this angle. So to get the angles, you can use the dynamic inputs. When you have dynamic input, it is considering the rotating direction as the positive angle. It is not considering the anti-clockwise direction as the positive angle. But if you coming from this way to this way, it is considering that side as the positive angle. So this is the base angle 0 to the east direction. Now when you come to this way, you have 90 degrees plus another 45 degrees here. So altogether that should be 135 degrees. So to get the angle, I will first press tab key. Now you will get the angle. Now this angle is 135. So now after having 135, I will press the tab key again. Now my angle is locked. What I have to do is give the length. So my length is here 71.84. 71.84 and press enter. Now that is completed. Now you have to go this way. It is 25.4 millimeters. I press enter. Now to upwards you have to go. Now I am going upwards using the object snap tracking. It's 101.6. Now this time I want to go to a angled direction. So this angle is, even though this is 135, from the base angle point it is 45 degrees. So from this base angle it will be 45 degrees. I will first press tab key here to access the angles. Then I will have 45. I am not pressing enter. I will press tab again. Now I am on a 45 degree angle. My length is 35.92. That is completed. Now I am going to the upward direction. It is 101.6. Now I am going outside. This angle is now 135. So this time I will first type my length 35.92. Then I will press tab key to get the angle. This angle is 135. I press enter now. Again using object snap tracking, I will move 101.6 upward and coming to the right side 25.4 using the object snap tracking, and coming downward with an angle. This angle is 45 degrees downward. 45 degrees downward. If you see the geometry, you can identify that one. So I will have a length of 71.84. I will type the length first this time, and I press tab key and type my angle as 45 and press enter. Now your object is finished. So this is how to draft various objects using AutoCAD. So there may be easier ways than this to create objects, but as a beginner this is a good way to practice. But with time you will learn more efficient ways to do these things, and we will finish this drafting objects, and this is the final object we are going to draft. And we have used many commands throughout this drafting series. Now we are going to learn about layer management in AutoCAD. So before going to that, I have copied created objects to a separate location. Now I am going to open a new drawing. So I go into application menu, go to new, and select AutoCAD iso.dwt as my template, and I will open it. So now I move back to the original drawing, and I will click all these things or select all these things, right click and go to clipboard and copy. Then I move into this drawing, the new drawing, right click, then clipboard and select paste. Now I will zoom out to get a clear view and click here to paste the objects. Now in AutoCAD, everything we do, we have to do on a layer. So in this objects, this is a window frame, this is a bathtub, this is a sofa, this is a sink, and this is a copy machine. So there are 5 different objects here. So when you are drawing these objects, it is good to draw them in separate 5 layers. First we need to create those layers. Now since we have already created these objects, now we can create the layers and assign the layers to these objects. Otherwise first you can create the layer and draw the object in that layer. So currently all these objects are drawn in a layer called layer 0. So on your home tab you have this layers panel. Here you can see the current layer. So if you select this object, it will show you the layer is layer 0. So you can see the available layers on your drawing by going to layer manager. So layer manager is accessed from here, layer properties. So if you click here, you can see it will show you the available layers. Currently in my drawing I have only one layer. This is the 0 layer. So from here you can turn on or off your layers. So if you click here, you can turn off this layer, then all these objects will be disappeared from the drawing. Same thing can be done through the freeze layer option as well. So if you click there, you will see the layers will be frozen. That means it is similar to turn off layers. Since I have only one layer here, I can't freeze that layer. So if you want to lock the layer, you can lock these layers. After locking a layer, you cannot draw on that layer because it is locked. So it is giving about plot details here and the color of that layer, line type of that layer, line weight of that layer. So if you want to create a new layer, you can use this option. So I will click this option to create a new layer. So let us say we are having a new layer for window frame. So we will type the new layer as window, right? So then you can set a color for that one. Let us say we assign a red color for that one and click OK. Then you can set a line type. So if you click here, you can see you only have one line type here, so we can't add any more line types, but still you can load other line types. We are not going to go into that detail at this stage. Then you can set the line weight. That means how much thicker is the line on your drawing. So you can set up different line weights according to your drafting requirement. So I will just accept the default one. So let us say I have created the window layer. Now I will create another layer for this bathtub. So I will click, instead of going new layer, you can copy this existing layer to another layer by pressing enter. You have to select the layer first, then press enter. It will automatically give a copy of that layer. So this time I will rename it as bathtub, and I will change the color of it as yellow and click OK. So similarly you can create the other layers as well. So now I have created all the layers with layer names and their distinctive colors. So if you have to have more description about that layer, you can add them here. So I will close this for the moment. Now let us say we need to set up the related layers to this each object. So I will select this object. This is the window frame. So I will click this drop down to get the related layers. So I will select window from here. Now it will become red. So again I will move on to bathtub and change the layer as bathtub, and I press escape. Then I select the sofa layer and select it for sofa. Press escape. Similarly go for sink, and finally we will change the layer to copy machine. Now you can see we have set separate layers to each object. So using the separate layers, we can identify each object in AutoCAD very easily. So that is why we use layer management in AutoCAD. Now we are going to talk about blocks in AutoCAD. So before that, I have drawn a rectangle here. So if I click this rectangle, you can see on the layer it is a layer called wall. So this is a inner wall inside a space. So what we are going to do now is I am going to copy this sofa inside this space. So what I do is I launch my copy command, select the objects, right click, and for the base point I use this point, and I click this, and let us say I need to have 2 of them. I click here and press enter. Now this is copied. So let us say I need to rotate this. So what I do is I launch my rotate command, I select this object, right click, and from this point let us say I will rotate for some random angle. So I can redo the same thing to this one if I needed, but the problem here is everything we do, we need to select all these lines every time. So it is kind of cumbersome. So in that case, we will be using blocks in AutoCAD. So that way I can select the objects at once without selecting everything. So to create a block, we need to go to Insert tab and click this one, Create Block, and my name of the block will be sofa, and I have to select the object that should be included in the block. I go here, I select all these objects that is inside that block, then I right click, then for the pick point I click here and I select this middle point as the pick point. So I will explain that later, what is the pick point, and I will use the other things as default, and you will see a preview of that block in the right corner here, and I click OK. So once you click, now you can select the thing very easily. Means earlier if you select this one, you will only select only one line, but if you select this one, it will select everything at once, and this is the point where I use as the base point or the pick point. Now if you want to move this block, without using the move command, you can easily move this block anywhere. So if you want to have a block inside, you can use. If you want to get a copy of that one, you can launch the copy command and get the base point. Since my object is already selected, it is asking for the base point. I use this base point and you can easily have copies on them. So I will press escape now. Now the best thing in blocks is this one. So if you update the block, it will automatically reflect in all blocks. That is the most beautiful thing in blocks. So if I select this object and right click, then go to block editor, So let us say, if you can remember, there was a line from here to here in the initial block. We didn't draw that one. So now we are going to draw that line. So I select this home tab and go to line option. So let us say we are drawing it from this corner to this corner and click enter to finish that one. Now there's a little problem, that is this layer and this layer are different. So you can select this line and move to the correct layer, but the easiest way is to use match properties command here. So once you select this command, first we need to select the based object to get the properties from. Then you have to select the object we need to change the properties. It will automatically get the properties from the other objects. So that is another new command we can use in AutoCAD. So after finishing all these things, you can go to close block editor and you have to save the changes. And after save changes, you can see every block is now updated with the new line here, and you can see the ones we copy without the block, it is not updated. So you can see now how important to convert the object to a block, so that we can update the objects very easily. So that is about AutoCAD blocks. Now we are going to learn about adding text into the drawing. So before adding any text, we need to have a layer for that text. So to do that, we need to go to Home tab, go to Layer Properties, and I will get a copy by entering this one, and my new layer is text, and I have the color as white, this 255 color number, and I close it. Before closing it, I have to make sure that this layer is the current layer. So to make it the current layer, I will double click here. In here I will double click, it will become the current layer. You can see now it has become the current layer. Now I close this one. So now I am going to add text. So I go to Home Annotate tab here, Annotate tab, then go to Multi-line Text, select here. Now it is asking to have a rectangle to get a text editor to add the text. So I have to create some kind of a rectangle here, so it will launch up a text editor. So inside this text editor, you have to type the text you want. So I will type it as window frame. Now you need to make sure that you have the correct size of text here. So there are a lot of ways to add the correct sizes and you can create styles for text, but we are not going to learn that far at the moment. To change the text size, I will select all these things and set this text size to 100 at the moment. So it will become 100, but when you see it for the first time, it will looks like large, but if you click away from the text editor, it will come to the correct size. So that is the window frame in this text layer. Now let us say we need to rename all these things. So to do that one, instead of going to the command text command again or mtext again, I will use the Home tab and copy this object, and from this base point I will copy all these things here and press escape. Now I change, double click and delete the existing one and add the new one. That is kind of easy. So you can use Ctrl A to select all these text at once. So now I have created text for all these objects. If you like, you can move the text to a proper location so that it gives a better view. Now we are going to add dimensions to this object. So if you are going to give this object to someone else after plotting, that means after printing, if that person needs to recreate this object using the print, you have to mark the dimensions like we have created this object earlier. So in this we are going to look at how to add the dimensions to this object. So before that we need to have a layer for dimensioning. So I will go to layer manager using the layer properties here. So I will create a new layer for the dimensions. I press enter to create a new layer. I will type dimensions as my new layer and I will change the color to magenta here, and also I will change another color here. I will change this 255, which is white color, to a separate color like this, because so I want to make sure this color is not used somewhere else. So I will use this type of color, color 20 here, because if you are going to plot these things, it will be a problem when the color white is going to plot. Sometimes it will not be shown on your print. So now I make this dimensions 1 as the active layer. So I make it current and I close this one. So before doing some other dimensions, I need to change some dimension defaults. I will type D on my keyboard to access the dimension styles. Then I click this dimension style here. So we are going to change this dimension style. So currently we have already available dimension styles. I am not going to change this style. Instead I will overwrite or have a new style from that one. So this time I will use my text height. I am on the text tab. The dimension text will be shown in text height of 50, and I will move on to symbols and arrows, and this time I will change the arrow size to 25. So it will be shown once we are adding the dimensions. So I will click OK now and I will make it current. I will make this style current by set current and click close. So now what I do is, to mark these dimensions, I go to annotate tab. So we need to mark these lengths and these radiuses of the circles and arcs to get a better idea of this dimensioning. So to add dimensions, you have several options. So to add vertical and horizontal dimensions, you can use linear option. So if you have to mark align dimensions, you can use aligned option. So in this case we have only horizontal and vertical dimensions, so I will use this linear option. So I select this endpoint and come to this endpoint and click upwards. So now this dimension is marked. So in the same manner I launch the same command and I do mark this length as well. So I will mark this inside length as well, because we need that also if you are going to recreate the object using the dimensions. I will use this length as well. Now all the lengths are completed. Now I need to now have these arc radiuses and circle radius. So I go to radius option from the dimension. I select this one. So I zoom here. First I select the outer circle and click here. Now it gives the radius value. You can move the cursors anywhere to get the radius dimension into place. I will click here and I relaunch that one again and select the inside circle now and give the dimensioning, and I do the same to this arc and do the dimension. Now I zoom out. Now you can see we have finished the dimensioning. So there are a lot of things we can do with dimensioning by creating dimension styles, but as a start for basic understanding, this is what we are doing at dimensioning. We also call this annotating AutoCAD objects. We are going to plot this thing into a sheet of paper. So to access plotting, you have three options. You can access plotting by going to application menu, and from print you can access plotting. So plotting and printing is similar. In AutoCAD we call it plotting. So also we can access plotting from here, from the quick access toolbar. Otherwise you can press Ctrl and P on your keyboard to access the plotting from the command line. So if I press Ctrl plus P on my keyboard, it will go to the plotting mode. Now this is the plotting window. So first you need to set up a printer here. Let us say we are going to create a PDF. We have to select this plotter printer option, set to DWG to print. Then you have to select the paper size. Currently I will use A4 paper size. Then you need to define what area you need to plot. So there are so many options to set. So I am going to select this window mode, and I will now select the window I need to plot. Let us say I need to plot this area. Then you can center the plot by clicking this option, and you can use the portrait and landscape option from here. I will use the landscape option. Now the plot will be looking like this. Now you can use two plot styles usually. If you use AutoCAD or ACAD CTB style, it will be plotted in colors. If you use monochrome style, the plotting will be in black and white. So I will be using ACAD CTB plotting style. So I click yes to apply all of layouts. Now if you want to see a preview of the print, you can click this preview option. So you can see now this is how your plot preview will be looks like. So if you are satisfied with this plot preview, you can directly go to plot from here. So if you need to do some adjustments, you can press escape and go back and do the changes. So I will plot now from here. Then it is asking for a location to plot. So you can give a name to the plot and click save. So it will be plotted now. After some time the PDF will be opened using the PDF viewer on your computer. Now you can see the view is now plotted. So this is how to use the plotting option in AutoCAD. Finally, we are going to talk about drawing templates. So here in my screen we have created some objects, and we have also created a block. So let us say we need these layers, and sometimes we need these blocks time and time again in various occasions in our drafting. Instead of creating this every time, there is an option in AutoCAD to change these layers and blocks in a separate drawing type called drawing templates. First we need to delete all these objects from our drawing. I select everything and press delete. Now you don't have anything in the drawing. What you should do is go to application menu, then go to save as, and there you have drawing template. So for the drawing template, we will type a new name, my template. You can give your own name. I will type it as millimeters because the units used in this template is millimeters. So I click save. So we can give a description if your name and other details if you like. Let us say my custom template with millimeters, and it is the measurement is metric. That means we have millimeters and meters as units. So I click OK here. Now it is saved as a template. So I will close this one for the moment. So let us say now I am going to start a new drawing. So I go here and go to new. Now it is going to the default template location. You have to select the template you created and click open. Now once you open, I will go to the layer properties here. So you can see your all layers are already inside this drawing. So you don't need to create a new drawing and add these layers. It is already in the drawing. So in that old drawing we had a block for the sofa. So that block is also in this drawing. You can access that through Insert tab. There you have an option to insert a block in this block panel. So if you click this drop down, you can see there is a block icon here, this sofa block. So if you click here and if you place, you can automatically get the block into that drawing. So that is very easy. So if you have many blocks other than one block, you can easily add the blocks into the drawing. So that is why we are using templates. So in this manner you can create several templates according to your requirement. So that is how you use AutoCAD templates with your work. With that we conclude the tutorial to guide you with the basic knowledge of AutoCAD.